Hi there. So welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is Real Talks with Pastor K. And today I have a special guest. But before I go ahead and introduce special guest, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I don't know what on earth you are waiting for. So please click the subscribe button. Don't forget to share, put on notifications, and hey, make comments. Let's know what you think. All right. So today I have with me Steve Harris.
Gang. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal consultant. He's also a relationship coach, interestingly, even though he's more known for his consulting. But we've done relationship meetings together.
Yeah, we have.
Yes. So he's here. And today I just want to ask him, what are 3 things that guys can do and 3 things that ladies can do to deal with delays in marriage? All right? If you're feeling that you're being delayed, you're not getting married or engaged when you want to, what are 3 things guys can do? What are 3 things ladies can do?
Tough question. Well, so for the ladies, I think the first thing I think they need to get out more, especially, good girls, church girls, as the case may be. In my experiences, I found that, most church girls don't have a circle. They have a triangle of relationships. So it's work, home, church. Work, home, church. It's a triangle. But you need to expand your circle. You need to be able to go out more. You need to just, I don't know. I've seen ladies who expect that, God is going to send a man to their house like DHL. Unless he works from DHL, he's not coming to your house. You know what I mean? So you got to go outside and meet him. So you need to turn that triangle into a bit of a circle and, get out a little bit more. Another of the things I find is a lot of single women are grieving over things that have happened in their past. So I find that, I say it this way, they put their next relationship in jail for the sins of their ex-relationship. So the new guy is just incarcerated. He doesn't even know what he's done, but he's paying for the sins of somebody else. So I think, a lot of ladies need to go back and say, you need to heal. You need, one of the things I do, because, I talk to ladies as well, is I say, I want you to, go back in your past. I want you to look, perhaps look at your exes, look at the one that perhaps you had maybe the best relationship with, and you guys still talk. Because ladies, all your exes are not demons. They're not all bad people. You know what I mean? So go back and ask the one perhaps you had maybe a pretty good time and it didn't even work out. Ask, why didn't it work out? Ask specific questions. What kind of person am I? What don't you like? What didn't you like about me? Why didn't it work out? And be objective and take it as feedback. But unfortunately, most ladies are like, the moment he's there, like, he's gone, he's in my past. Yeah. But sometimes things in your past are stopping you from your future. You don't know. Then I think maybe one more thing that I would say, and you've said this a lot, is don't marry a man's potential. Marry his patterns. His patterns are based on where he's coming from. His potentials are based on where he's going to. You can't tell where he's going to until you've noticed where he's coming from. So you've got to be able to look back and be objective, and simply say, is he a hard worker? Because, he's not going to be a hard worker in Jesus' name. It's based on what he's been doing in the past. Look at his relationships, how does he talk about his exes? How does he treat his friends? How does he unwind? And you've got to be able to know those sorts of things to be able to project the future. So that's for the ladies. For the fellas, I'd say that, number one, any man can get a girl, but it takes a real man to keep a girl. Any man can get a girl, but it takes a real man to keep a woman. Because the test of your machismo as a man is not in the number of women you can have. It's in the number of women you say no to. You know what I mean? Any man can say yes to 1,000 women.
Yes.
But it takes a man who is a strong man to say no to 999 women, to say yes to one woman.
Wow.
That's the test. That is the test. Some guys are like, I don't feel now. I don't feel you now. So no pressure, fellas, but that's one way to go. Another thing that I would say, to men is, you can paint a new canvas of what your marriage can be. Marriage is not necessarily about, leaving your wife in the house and then you going out to the club and just partying and chilling and, she's just there taking care of the kids. Marriage is teamwork. Irrespective of whether you're the striker or she's the goalkeeper or the midfielder, it doesn't matter who scores the goals. as long as both of you win. You know, I've seen men who say that I can't marry a girl who earns more than me. What's that? For what now? You just by saying that you've put a ceiling over your family's financial. You know, I think it's ridiculous. You know, I think some of the stereotypes that we have need to be challenged, because I mean, it's okay to that your wife goes out to work, and if you decide that, if you, for example, COVID has leveled almost everybody. Everybody has, almost everybody's a house husband. You know what I mean? You can literally stay at home and bring in the bacon and work. You know, and it doesn't make you any less. So, you know, I've seen men who try to clip their wives' wings. I think that's ridiculous. Another thing that I think that would be, the final thing that I think would be maybe my advice, you know, to men is, you know, try to be that example. And it's not easy, because perhaps, you know, not all of us have had great examples from our families and from our past. But you can be the example that your child looks up to and says, you know, my dad, you know, your child may not have an experience with his grandfather, but he has that experience with you. And then ultimately, your experience with that child will define how that child sees manhood. Because there are a lot of women who are dealing with daddy issues. Their dads weren't there, their dads weren't this. You know, but once upon a time, the dad was a guy like us who was just chilling, who had dreams, and somewhere along the line, he lost it. So, you know, I think just right off the bat, those are the three things that I think would be valuable to the guys and the girls.
That's powerful. I also think, you know, part of the things ladies in particular need to work with is what's going on in their minds. Because I like that you mentioned going out. So for me, I see that as the physical aspect. I like that you mentioned the healing aspect also. That's good. One other thing I would like to talk about for the ladies, now it also, of course, relates to guys, but I'm focusing a bit on the ladies here, is to work with, you know, their minds. Two things. Number one, I think a lot of ladies have created, you know, a man that does not physically exist. You know, so they have you know, and because women have the gift of fantasy, women can fantasize. That's why if you notice all their movies from childhood is based on fantasy.
Absolutely.
So you know it resonates with ladies. You know, men are more into the violent superhero kind of thing. But for ladies, from when they're young, Rapunzel, Cinderella, everything's fantasy. So they grow up with the fantasy thing, and so they start painting this picture of this man that is going to be as handsome as Steve Harris, as rich as Steve Harris.
He doesn't exist.
You know, he's going to be as spiritual as
PK.
this person. Yeah. He's going to be as this, as romantic as this one, and as gifted as Denzel, as this. So they'll combine
all those things
into one picture. And, you know, this is the person they'll be looking for. And they don't realize that even if it's possible to get this guy, when he's going to come to you, he's not going to look like that guy.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's even if it were possible to have all these things in one man. He's not going to look like this. All right. He's going to look like the Steve before he got married.
Absolutely.
He's going to look like me before I got married.
And we've seen those pictures. We have seen those pictures.
We don't look anything like this.
Absolutely
so,
not.
You know, women need to be able to match their fantasies with their reality. You know, and understand that, okay, number one, is it unrealistic to have all these things together? People that have gotten married where their husbands like this, how did they look? Go and look at these pictures and see how these guys, because those are the guys that are going to come to you.
Absolutely.
You know, and this, I think this is also why there's a, you know, high rate of side chicks and all that, because these girls want these finished products. So they want this guy that's already rich, already cultured, already trained.
Somebody trained you.
Yeah, somebody did that. Somebody married him when it wasn't anything like this.
Which is why the guys have to step up themselves, because, you know, again, that's why the guys have to step up, because, you know, it's, people would argue, because women would argue that PK, leave that thing, you know, see, at least look at how you turned out now. But the guys are sagging, they're carrying, you know, the guy's sagging, he's not, you know, at least were sagging? You were doing ministry since you were 19, and look at how far you've come. So again, that's the onus still comes on us as the guys to say that, listen, we may not have it all together. We may not, you know, it's the barriers to entries are harder for guys to get married. You know, we're all hustling for money and all whatnot. However, you've got to give the lady something to work with, man. You've got to give him something to work with. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's one. The second thing, again, with the mind is that you actually have to believe that, you know, there is no scarcity. So I think a lot of people walk around with the scarcity mentality that there are no good men, there are no good women. First of all, you don't need men. You don't need men. You just need one man. One man.
It's just one man.
Yes, and that your one man exists.
Sure.
So that's what you're bothered about. So don't say, oh, men have not been approaching me. You don't need men to approach you. It's just one, you need the right one. Yeah. And that one exists. There is no scarcity in life. All right. So if you, most people don't realize that human beings, we we give out energy.
True.
Young people call it vibes. People give out energy, and the energy you give out determines what you attract. That's why people that have been abused are more likely to still be abused.
Yeah, true.
Because you're giving out that energy.
Absolutely.
If you have never been healed or processed it, you're going to give out that energy.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody enters a place, a loose guy enters a place, he can easily identify the loose girls. Because all of you give out energy. So if you walk about with that mindset that there's scarcity, you are giving out that energy.
True.
That, you know, there are no men, and you will never attract men.
Absolutely.
So you need to change how you feel about yourself and how you feel about everything around you, knowing that, look, there's one man there out there for me, and he's going to find me. I don't know when, but he's definitely going to find me. And then love yourself. Because what happens to some ladies is that because nobody's coming around them, they are now having the mindset of, I'm not attractive.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. And that mindset of feeling I'm not good enough, I'm not attractive, is actually doing you more harm.
True.
Than even the real situation.
True.
Because you're giving out energy at every time. All right. So I think, ladies, if you can work on these things in terms of your mindsets, you'll definitely see results. Lastly, before we go today, Steve, when you were single, transitioning to when you were married, what were the things that were hardest, the most challenging, or notable things that you think young people should know?
Very interesting question. So let me throw myself under the bus. I think the hardest thing for me was celibacy. Because I had been quite physical prior to meeting my wife. And luckily for me, at the time I met her, I had already decided that I was going to be celibate. So I was like, okay, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I beg. And when my wife came in, she was already like, see, bone this thing, though. You're not touching me before we get married. This is it. You know, so that worked, which is probably why I got married very quickly, because we dated for I think we dated 4 months. I proposed 1 year we're married, because I was like, see, it's better to marry than to burn, and this thing is burning me. So.
This was please don't lose your train of thought. It's important for me. But this was one of the things that made me popular. I was sharing this, that the way God created this whole system, because everything about God is balanced. People just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Everything God says, if God says, for instance, women should submit, there's a balance to it, but people don't look at it.
Just focus on the submission.
Because what God is saying is that men, love your wives, wives, allow them love you. That's what he was trying to communicate. But women just jump on one thing. Everything God does is balanced. So when God says, for instance, women they should not premarital sex, he knows that the passion and motivation in a man is strong enough. You know, if he's not getting free sex, he will likely marry early, like you mentioned. But many men are not in a hurry to get married because all the benefits of marriage, they're already enjoying it.
Absolutely.
This lady is already giving all her attention, giving all her body, giving all her services. She's cooking, she's taking care. So the guy literally has no motivation.
There's no motivation.
You know, so this was I was trying to paint in a women's conference. There were over 2,000 women in the hall, and I was sharing this thing with them. I posted one of the videos from it, sharing this same thing, and one popular music artist, you know, misconstrued it and made noise about it, and I became popular, very popular. So I appreciate the misunderstanding.
No, it's fine. It's
you know,
fine. It works,
there's a principle there
that
many young people today don't realize. And God is wise. When God is saying some things, He's not just trying to be, you know, a killjoy or somewhere that. He's one that created sex.
Yeah.
But He's saying, look, a man's passion is strong. Men are transactional.
Very.
So if there's nothing he's going to gain by taking
he's not interested.
He's not going to take an extra step.
Why buy the cow? Please forgive the reference. Why buy the cow when he gets the milk for free?
He's not going to do it. Yeah,
sure.
So please, I'm not broken your
No, absolutely. So I mean, so for me, I was like, listen, I can't deal. Let's just do this. And in a year we're married, and you know, I think another thing that perhaps was on my mind was, I wasn't sure I wasn't sure that I could be a good husband and father.
That's a major one too.
I was scared to death because I had, sadly, my parents' marriage wasn't that fantastic. And then watching them, I had decided, before I met my wife, I had already decided that I wasn't going to get married. I had decided that I was going to have kids, hopefully from the same woman, but I wasn't going to put a ring on it. So I'd already decided that, no. See, if my parents can be married and decide to split, who am I? I beg you. You know, so for me, so I was constantly worried about that. And even when I met her and she changed my thinking, I was still concerned that somewhere this girl is going to leave me. It's just a matter of time. That's what they do. You know, so I didn't know I had that fear. You know, so it kind of affected the way maybe initially I behave towards her. So, I mean, I love my wife very much, but then I didn't know I was pushing her away because I was afraid of rejection, because I was like, she's going to leave me, so let me not love her too much, so that when she leaves me, it won't pay me too much. So that's how I was behaving. But you can't carry the ghost of your past into your future. You've got to be able to create that new identity. So for me, I think those are the two things that bummed me. But we've been 12 years in.
Wow.
12 years on, I'm still here.
Yeah, you're still here.
We're still here. We ain't going nowhere.
But did you have issues with financial issues? Did you feel, you had enough money, or you could sustain the lifestyle you wanted?
PK, I'm not going to lie, man. I did my marriage on 500K. When I got married, my wedding was done on 500K. And I remember it because it was ridiculous, because I'd been trying to hustle for money, and my parents were like, oh, you have to do this, you have to. I'm like, see, you people should not come and disturb me. If you want big wedding, you're going to pay for it, but the money that I have is 500K. And I remember, my wife is Igbo,
Wow.
Igbo women.
Yeah,
Hello.
I don't know if some people watching from abroad know
You don't know what that means, but don't worry about it. Look it up, right? But my wife is Igbo, and she. Just the way it is, just by marrying into the culture, I'm Igbo as well, so we understand. And so there was this pressure of, oh, we need to do this, we need to do this. And I told her, I said, look, babes, I'm an upcoming artist, too. My future is bright, too, but it's just that we can't see it right now. But this is the money I have. And I made a deal with her. And I said to her, what would you rather have? Do you want to have a big wedding, or do you want a car? She said, what do you mean? I said, I have 500K now. This is all I have. It's going to the wedding. I can go and borrow to make sure that we have a lavish ceremony, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to pay it off. So what I can promise you is, if we can have a small wedding that doesn't kill us, doesn't break the bank, we don't owe anyone, I promise you that in less than 6 months, I'll buy you a car. I promise. What do you prefer? And my wife said, a car. And that was it. And in 4 months, PK, I fulfilled my promise. So I bought her a car, it was in her name, papers, everything in her name. So that was the initial pressure. But afterwards, of course, we did go through our ups and downs. I remember there was a time that we were so broke, PK, I'm not even going to lie. My mom called me from the blues. My mom she called me from the blues. She said, I just sent you 10,000 there. That God said you needed one, PK. That money was the only, that money was sent from heaven.
I mean, it got so bad.
God had to tell my mother to send me 10K, and this was maybe the second year, maybe the first year in our marriage, so things were that bad. Wow. But, we've gone through the lows, and God has put us on the highs. So yeah, absolutely.
That's good. The story is quite similar to mine. I don't even know if I spent all 500K, but maybe it'd be around that range. But I also did that too. I said, look, I would rather you have a car than a big wedding, because I didn't want to marry somebody and you would have to take bikes to go to the market or things like that. I didn't want that. So, and truly, in fact, the day I was getting married, I told my church members, I have good news and bad news. I said, good news, I'm getting married. Hey, but have a bad news, you can't attend. Because I couldn't afford to
be over budget.
I couldn't. So you guys can't attend my reception. There's no way I can afford that. The hall can't even take us. Because we rented a very small hall, invitation by, specific numbers, and keep it small. And truly, we were able to also buy a car a few months after. I didn't want my wife, entering public transport or entering bikes. That's what I wanted. So I get that.
I'm sure the ladies watching are like, see, if any guy tells me that his car they are buying me, I know they've watched PK's YouTube channel, but yeah.
And I'd like to say to the guys, as we close this, don't also wait till you have all the money.
Yeah.
As long as you have a job, you must have a job.
True.
Because God gave Adam a job first before he gave me a wife. So yes, you must not be rich, but you must have something you're doing, and you must be determined to be good at the thing you're doing. Start where you are. Take the steps of faith. Nobody marries having all of the things they need at the day. They just keep moving and get it done. So, people have the mindset that, girls of nowadays need a lot of money. I'm actually doing a video and a post on the 10 richest men in the world. About 7 of them are divorced.
Absolutely.
So imagine that. So this shows that it's not all about money, as young people think. It's not all about money. Marriage is hard for everybody. So you need to learn, and this is why we have our counseling courses, our coaching courses, because more people need help regarding marriage. So do a step of faith, have a job, have a woman, choose a woman that understands. Because that's another thing. To the guys are saying, oh, these girls nowadays like money. I say you're choosing the wrong girls.
Yeah, sure.
You're going for the wrong girls. They love ladies that will literally stand with you, that will believe in you. And most of us married women like that.
Sure.
That, they saw that this person, has what it takes to become something in the future. We didn't all look like it.
Yeah, as long as the guy's head is correct. So because there's some guys who they'll stick with this good girl, and when they blow, they'll not dump her.
Oh yeah.
No,
but
that guy's
that's a
head.
temptation.
Yeah.
In fact, in the post I'm doing, that's why I'm saying I'm trying to link. Is there a correlation between having a big box and not being able to stay married? Because if the 10 richest men, if 7 of them are out of their marriage, that is
something they know.
That is something.
Yeah.
So there might be a link between, and for those of us that do infidelity recovery, part of, because you have to first identify what kind of infidelity is going on. There's a popular one amongst all the ones that is called entitlement affair. So it happens when somebody hits the big time. So you just feel
he needs to
I'm too
add
big.
an accessory.
Yes, I'm too big to just be having only one woman. I'm too blessed. I'm too, I'm the governor, I'm the president of this company, I'm the MD, I'm the CEO, I'm the new manager. I need deserve.
Right.
So I'm just trying to, do the research and find out, is there a link between being there and
you might be surprised, PK, because I've also figured that sometimes one of the reasons is perhaps maybe one spouse isn't growing at the same speed.
That's another thing altogether.
So maybe when both of you married, you were like iPhone 1s, for example. I don't think there was ever an iPhone 1, but iPhone 1s. And then the guy becomes maybe an iPhone 5. The lady's still an iPhone 1. Yeah. He becomes an iPhone 7. She becomes an iPhone 2. He becomes an iPhone 15 or whatever the heck it is. And then she's an iPhone 7. And so he now realizes that before, when we're both iPhone 1s, we could talk about the same thing. But now I've grown and I'm talking about world finance and crypto and this. And you're talking to me about, new housewives of Atlanta. And I'm like, I don't get it. There's no correlation.
It's the women that have
grown, exactly. Because the women actually grow faster. True, absolutely. So, yeah.
Wow.
It happens.
Interesting. But interestingly, again, sometimes the men don't even cheat with better women.
No.
So
it's usually backwards.
Yes, backwards.
Which is weird. There's got to be psychology about that. There's something psychological about
sometimes
that.
The reason is because the woman they grew with is not in awe of them. That's why affairs thrive usually in relationships that there's natural respect.
Right.
So way older man, younger woman, natural. Rich man, side chick. It's normal. This guy is gonna provide my needs.
Right.
This guy is all there. Boss secretary.
Right.
Boss
True.
PA.
True.
Boss housemaid. There is natural respect. But you see, for your wife, sometimes she knew you when you were.
Just seen you finish.
Exactly. Well, now because everybody's telling you Sasa out there, she's not impressed. She's like, you're still the same guy that even drops your clothes. I still have to arrange your clothes for you at home. So she's not seeing that your status have changed. And this happens a lot, even in normal relationships.
True.
When you get promoted to certain levels, some people that knew you before just find it
hard to relate with you.
To accept that you are a new person now. You're playing a new role.
Right.
They just want to talk to you.
Yeah, the same way.
They don't understand that now things have changed. Especially when we're outside. I have to know how to relate with you like you're the governor.
True.
You're not just that guy we used to play football together at the backyard. I have to talk to you as your excellency now.
True.
Even though between us we know we're pals, but I have to accord you the respect that your new role requires. So women struggle with being able to still respect their husbands. And for instance, the man can still making a lot of mistakes. But he's a Mr. So and so now, he's a manager so and so. And everybody sees him as such, but the woman says, this still Kingsley, this still John. And he will definitely be more drawn to where he's admired and respected, because admiration and respect is still part of a man's major.
That's his food.
Yes, that's why God said women respect and submit to you. That was what he was trying to tell us, that look, his major love language is that respect thing, and all that. So
thank God you're here. That's why you're doing what you're doing. So
it's phenomenal. Thank you, Steve, for coming on.
I had a good time.
This was good.
It was great.
Please, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to Steve's channel. And loads of helpful content that will be a blessing to you. So please subscribe, share this video also if it blessed you. And don't forget, if you need to reach our office, if you need counseling, or your relationship coach, you want to be trained, you want to be certified, and loads of materials that can help you, please visit our website and get in touch with us. All right. Thank you very much for coming. God bless you.